Uja, greetings. I am Sunu Satna Hasra. Welcome to our early morning ancient Egyptian devotional dedicated to Goddess Net and all her mystic forms, gods, and goddesses who are derived from her transcendental essence. The liturgy, which you will be able to see on screen, is recited in the ancient Egyptian language, the Medu Neter. English and Brazilian Portuguese translations is provided for you. You can see these translations on screen directly below the hieroglyphic text transliteration. You are welcomed to participate by chanting along in your worship space or home, or wherever you may happen to be during our service. Or you are also welcome to listen quietly in a contemplative mode. Following the devotional, Uwashu, recitation of the liturgy, and meditation, Uwa, practice, will we have a brief wisdom rec teaching by Sehu Kepral, leader and priest of the Shetaut Neter Temple of Net. Before we begin, please remember to mute all devices. We will now begin. Presented on the screen at the moment is a stone-carved depiction of the facing pylons of the Temple of Net from the statue of Penat. On the left and right sides are the pylons in which one of the symbols of Goddess Net sits atop a papyrus standard. Her emblem is her two arrows crossed and tied to her shield. This symbolizes the protection and resurrection of the soul within this place, the temple. Behind the emblems of Net on both sides are the flags which mean Neter, divinity. In the center of the pylons, at the bottom, is the opening to the temple, and above that is a pyramidal structure which symbolizes the four equilateral planes of the universe and the mystic number 4. Above that, at the very top, is the cow hieroglyph symbol, which means rising. So it symbolizes the sun rising between the mountains, the Aket symbol, and for the initiate, the emergence of spirit consciousness. Net nesumer puneter ine Jeresh nesuher tepti net perkin Menket mert en hepsek net en kain Geri hep her tep SSN em het net en Ren F Jetta.
Net nesut mehu neterhem inen. Jeref nesut hetap jinat behili. Winker menem hepset neben kain. Geri habeher tap SSN em heten. Enar renef jetan.
Net nesumer puneter and Jedef nesu hatati networkin. Menget mert en heb set net en kai. Gary tep SSN en het net. Ina ren F jetta.
Net nesut mehu neterhem inem. Jedef nesut hetap jinat behgiru. Mikert merim hebsat nabin kain. Geri habeher tap SSN emhetne. Ina renef jeta.
Bet nesumer puneter anine. Jedef nesu hetepti networkin. Menget mert em heb set net en kain. Gary tep SSN en het net. Ina ren F jetta.
Net nesut mehpu neterhem ineb. Jedef nesut hetap jinat behgiru. Minkert merem hebset neb en kahem. Geri habeher tap SSN emhetne. Ina renef jeta.
Net nesumer puneter anine. Jedef nesumer tepti networkin. Menget mert en heb segnet en gain. Gary tep SSN em het net. Ina ren F jetta.
Net nesut mehpu neterhem ineb. Jedef nesut hetap jinat behgiru. Minkert merem hebset neb en kaen. Geri heb her tap SSN emhetne. Inat ren F jeta.
Yes, the way the family Wakuti Anateshakira Never Nebuben
Duamun. Het F ben F en Heru akuchi. Anitesh het kera. Nefer neb uben.
Duamu Kerefuben the family Wakuti Anateshakira Never Nebuben
Duamun. Het F ben F en Heru akuchi. Anitesh het kera. Nefer neb uben.
Duamu Kerefuben the family Wakuti Anatekera Neferneruben
Duamun. Het F ben F en Heru akuchi. Anitesh het kera. Nefer neb uben.
Dua Kerefuben Neferneruakuti Anatekera Neferneruben
Duamun. She'efu ben F en Heru akuti. Anitesh her kera. Nefesh neb ubem.
Adi Jen Sekert Sehu Kef Ulu. Nesuti Hatep Neperkeru. Didi Eskawa. Amunem Nefershepsi. Etne. Ete.
Nesudi hetepnet pekiru. Didi eska wabamune nefeshepsi. Etnet hetep.
Nesuti Hatep Neperkeru. Didi Eskawa. Amunem Nefershepsi. Etne. Ete.
Nesudi hetepnet pekiru. Didi eska wabamune nefeshepsi. Etnet hetep.
Esuti Hatep Neperkeru. Didi Eskawa. Amunem Nefershepsi. Etne. Ete.
Nesudi hetepnet pekiru. Didi eska wabamune nefeshepsi. Etnet hetep.
Nesuti Hatep Neperkeru. Didi Eskawa. Amunem Nefershepsi. Etne. Ete.
Mesudi hetepnet pekeru. Didi eska wabamune nefeshepsi. Etnet hetep.
Tua em Shamsu. En Neberger. Seshu en Keperu. Dua Asar. Neberestal. Paud Neteru. Ata Ami Netaker. Anatet here Kekenti. Amentet. Un Nefer. Ab Abdu. Matentu. Ai Ku Anek Arati. Restal. Seteka Seger. Aku Sari Nas. Ubed Center. Set Mka. Def Sit Neter. Oni Entet. Hena Yash Neter. Asar. Erdit Endek. En Ari Heru. Hena Herme. Endes Ari Heru. Ausuatapi. Ari Sech. Ab Ua Neter. Abu Pen Ha Asar. Abu Pen Asar. Spur en Heru. Ari Bert. Nahas Sa. Wajit Pa Neter. Asar Ari Et. Aset. Abuyen. Tuchen. Meduje yan aset sam ujat. Setep saher abseti. Enti amsa asar. Sa amset. Asar amset. Meduje yan nebehet. Hapsheta. Ari besa. Happy. Enti sa asar. Sa happy. Asar pu happy. Meduje yan net seduara. Semesha ru. Net ari maket en. Duamutef. Enti amsa asar. Sa duamutef. Asar pu duamutef. Meduje yan circuit en ka ke sekede. Saru nel ari maket en pepsone. Entet amsa asar sa pepsone. Asar pu pepsone. Yana turna and duachetta. Yana turna emnuen duachetta. Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatet Hirki Asar Putra Mati Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejerjed Anetejhert Asa Putra Makdi Saki Situ Sakaki.
Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatet Hirki Asar Putra Mati Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejerjed Anetejhert Asar Putra Makdi Saki Situ Sakaki.
Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatet Hirki Asar Putra Maki sake setu sakake.
Nebejerjed Anetejhert Asar Putra Makdi Saki Situ Sakaki.
Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatechir Asar Putra Maki sake setu sakake.
Nebejerjed Anetejhert Asar Putra Makdi Saki Situ Sakaki.
Then Secured Adi Duaker Ekau Uashu Ne Duane Sefekira Sehues
Net net duanet, sefek keras sinhues.
Net net duanet sefekera senwes.
Net net duanet, sefek keras sinhues.
Net net duanet sefekera senwes.
Net net duanet, sefek keras sinhues.
Net net duanet sefekera senwes.
Net net duanet, sefek keras sinhues.
Oh, oh, comes to
Amut consum.
old comes to
Amut consum.
Amun boat comes to
Amut consum.
Amun boat comes to
Amut consum.
Om Amun Rapata
Om Amurabdam.
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 Om Asara Heru
Om Asara Sehu.
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 Heru Heru
Heru Heru.
Heru Heru
Heru Heru.
Heru Heru
Heru Heru.
Heru Heru
Heru Heru.
Ase Se Ase
Asit. Asit. Asit.
Ase Ase Ase
Asit. Asit. Asit.
se, se, se,
Acid, acid, acid,
se, se, se,
acid, acid, acid.
David, Abuja, Sene, Dinete,
Ama out and around, nebet, ang uja senen, arinitiru.
David, Abuja, Sene, Dinete,
Ama out and around, nebet, ang uja senen, arinitiru.
Maoera, David, Abuja, Sene, Dinete,
Ama out and around, nebet, ang uja senen, arinitiru.
Lepet Ankuja Sene Arineteru Duara
Ama out and around, nebet, ang koja seneb, ariniteru duara.
Duk Tien Keperu
Look, atien keperu.
Duk Atien Keperu
Look, atien keperu.
Duk Atien Keperu
Look, atien keperu.
Duk Atien Keperu
Look, atien keperu.
Keteru Keteru Keteru, keteru,
Heru, 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 Heru,
keteru, 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 keteru,
Heru, 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 Heru,
keteru, 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 keteru,
Heru, 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 Heru,
Heru, Heru, Heru, Heru,
Heru, Heru, Heru, Heru,
Tu Heru, Tu Keru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Tu Heru, Tu Keru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Tu Heru, Tu Keru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Tu Heru, Tu Keru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Nuk Nebejer,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nuk Nebejer,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nuk Nebejer,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nuk Nebejer,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nefer Remtra in Adon,
Never Reptra en Atom,
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 Makeru Bemba Nebejer,
Makeru en Ba Nebeje,
Makeru Bemba Nebejer,
Makeru en Ba Nebeje,
Makeru Bemba Nebejer,
Makeru en Ba Nebeje,
Makeru Bemba Nebejer,
Makeru Ba Nebeje,
Nuk Wakuba,
Nuk Wa Kua,
Nuk
Nuk Wa Kua,
Nuk Wakuba,
Nuk Wa Kua,
Nuk Wakua,
Nuk Wa Kua,
Nukmat, 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 Nukmat,
Nukmaat, 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 Nukmaat,
Nukmat, 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 Nukmat,
Nukmaat, 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 Nukmaat,
Nukmat, 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 Nukmat,
Nukma'at, 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 Nukma'at,
Nukmat, 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 Nukmat,
Nukma'at, 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 Nukma'at,
Nukut,
Nut,
Nukut,
Nut,
Nukut,
Nut,
Nukut,
Nut,
Newt,
Nut,
Asar, 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 Asar,
Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar,
Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar,
Asa, 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 asa,
Asar, 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 Asar.
asa, 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 asa,
Asa, sa, sa, asa, asa,
asa, asa, asa, asa, asa.
Pete au, ank, jed, was hena, nefu kepetu, embaat, emdejasu, sunu ayamota. Aset, wasuja Heru, suja menut, nebu sen efset, efsen asar aset. Etepi, suja auitu yasor, nesheshu, nebu hu, shemu, metu tau, sep nebu, neshteta, ua menti, Heru hut teken, and ap, tesu, kem, pena, sefa, hara, dijit, kat, pena, asar, peta, keperu, medut, ra, kat, nefi, asar, keperu, uahai, uaker. Nuk aset, perke nayet, ret enau, seter sa medu, en Jehoti, tep, maat pet, ta atert, aset neter, nefer, ger, pu ank seske, sd a ament, sa enken, pu fnn, au f, ready f, nepkep, lit etep, fher, ft, ent, nf tawi, uahai, uaker. Heru mak Heru. Heru mak Heru. Heru mak Heru. Heru mak Heru. Nenait mesra. Nenait mesra. Nenait mesra. Nenait mesra. Nuk kepra duau ra au temu ami masher.
Nuk kapera duau, ra en auf, temu ami mashid.
Nuk kepra duau ra au temu ami masher.
Nuk kapera duau, ra en auf, temu ami mashid.
Nuk kepra duau ra au temu ami masher.
Nuk kapera duau, ra en auf, temu ami mashid.
Why Walker? Thus, netter, netter, mu, nepe, Jesseri, Zisheri, Netter, Netter, Mu, Nepe, Ra, Ta, Jesseri, Zisheri, Netter, Netter, Mu, Nepe, Ra, Ta, Jesseri, Zisheri, Netter, Netter, Mu, Nepe, Ra, Ta, Jesseri, Ziferi, Uashedi, Ua Tefaha, Em Mete, Emma, Te, Emma, Er, Em Mete, Emma, Em Mete, Emma, Er, Em Mete, Timoi, Em, Em Mete, Em, 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 te, 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 speak, ete, dua, ete.
Uja, greetings everyone. So, trying to share a few photos with you. So okay. So the first one, due to the discussion that we had last week concerning our current study, I wanted to show some additional features of the pyramids, which brings everything, brings it into context of what these structures are. So the first photo, this is an older photo I took in the early 2000s of the sarcophagus in what is referred to as the king's chamber. But when you look at the configuration of the room carefully, it turns out that it's related to Heru. And what would happen would be, recall we were talking about uh, discovery of this transcendental beingness. And we were talking about, the becoming glistening like a star, etc. And what they would do is that they would come into this room. And by they, I mean the initiates. Yeah, not just anybody could come here. Like you see these people here, these are tourists. And in ancient times, uh, tourist type personalities and people who are not in the clergy would not be allowed in this room, would not be allowed in the mirror itself, nowhere inside. And they would come here and this sarcophagus, there's also its dimensions is related to Heru. And if you could see in the background on the wall, there are no writings. So that means that the architecture of the room is speaking the mystery. And that sets up the astral body, your ka, for the metaphysics that is to take place. So the initiates would come and they would lay in this stone sarcophagus and perform certain meditation practices that's related to Orion's belt, what is referred to as Orion's belt. So the room is configured to represent the powers of Heru, while the metaphysics, mystical exercise performed while the physical body is laying in this sarcophagus, is to bring about the realization of one's own asar nature, spirit, soul, which is essentially the same as Heru, but working through the metaphysics of the myth is that Heru redeems the soul, asar. So the principle of Heru is inscribed in the room itself, and the metaphysics is for that Heru, which is the royal personality, to realize its divine nature as a sar, so redemption of the soul. And there's a lot more to say because the room also has um, the architecture of the room also relates to a set, but it's strongly configured to represent the power of Heru and the wisdom of a set. And it is through architecture and the numerical design of the room, not through uh, inscriptions, as you can see. And there's a lot more to be said about that. Now, if we go here, oh, I should have just stayed. So close this then. Nice. Now, I want to show this photo. Now, if you didn't know any better, you would think that this pyramid, this mirror, is the same as it is the one on the Giza Plateau, but it's actually the red pyramid, and it's an area called the Shore, which is a few kilometers away from Cairo. And so what we have here is the replication. What we have here is the full career of the metaphysics of the pyramid in full display, and that they operate in similar fashion. They're doing the same thing. It's a similar metaphysical process through slightly different architectural configuration, which is related to the mind, the architecture of the mind. And a very good example of that is this one. And all of these pictures are taken when we do our trips in the field. So I've taken the stance in my own career in working with with the comedic system, is that you have to go into the field and you have to see these things for yourself, and you have to do the basic research. And you can see this is what is referred to as a bent pyramid. And I believe this is one of the photos taken by a Sarma. And you can see what most Egyptologists say is that they were building this pyramid and then something happened and then they had to change the angle abruptly. And then this is proof that there was a developmental phase in the building of the pyramids. The first started in the step pyramid, then the bent pyramid, and something bad happened, and then you get to the conclusion of it in in the Great Pyramid of Giza. But a close examination doesn't support that argument, because I was just shown to you the Red Pyramid, which is in the same area, the shore as this pyramid, the Bent Pyramid. So what they're doing is they're configuring these structures in relation to a certain psychodynamic effect they want to have, they want to create on the mind of the spiritual practitioner as she or he goes through the metaphysics of the mind and the soul through this process that they have designed for the to bring about enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment. So these are architectural replications of a certain kind of geometry they're trying to create in the mind, or that they're creating in the mind of the initiate, to bring about a process that leads to enlightenment. And you say, well, why do they need to build such massive structures to do that? Well, why do you build uh, these massive skyscrapers today, or you build these massive aircraft carriers, that can, annihilate a whole country? Why do you build these nuclear bombs, these huge nuclear bombs that can, wipe out whole populations? Is what the people were concerned with at the time. They were concerned with the enlightenment of the soul as a super mundane life that leads to a realization of the true nature of self. So they put all their time and their resources into that, which the evidence have shown has led to a life of peace, tranquility, enlightenment, enlightened society, enlightened culture, enlightened civilization. And so if you were to we're going to get a little closer. So this is, if you were to now, this is closer to the pyramid, the mirror. And you can see how all of it's been around for such a long time that blocks are falling off, and some of the uh, the smooth surface that was created is chipping off. To get inside, you have to climb up these wooden scaffolding stairs, that were created for tourists to get inside, because it's high off the ground, the entrance. So you have to walk up here, these blocks, and then you walk up the stairs. And so when you do these kinds of trips, you have to be the way how we do it with the researches and that we try to do to produce the books and the classes. You have to be healthy, good physical health. So once you get inside, and what happens is that you meet a corridor. And the surface of this is maybe 3 feet high. It's very small and very tight. And the hand railings are modern conventions that were put in to help people get in and out. And the flooring is not the original. They overlaid a kind of a wooden step surface over the original stone surface, which makes it easier to climb in and out. And this corridor is related to, firstly, when you keep, it's a very long way, you know, you're walking down for seemingly what seems like miles. You keep walking down, and this person here, that's the young Tutankhamun or Sarmat's son. You keep walking down, and then you come to an opening surface. And this corridor, you're walking down, you keep walking until you get to an opening. This corridor is related to a region of mind. And actually, you can go into certain meditative states where internally you experience this kind of, you experience like a tunneling in your mind. So when they're building these structures, they're replicating in stone regions of mind that you can replicate, that you can get into in certain stages of meditation. So these, when you're coming here, these are like walking, when you're walking down this corridor, it's designed to be a walking meditation. You know, it's not very high. You're stooped over and it's almost like you're crawling down. And again, you have to be, you know, you just don't go in here and you have to be in some kind of physical health. So if you're not an initiate, it's just a tunnel that you're walking into to get inside the pyramid, to be awed by it. If you're an initiate and have been instructed into these certain regions of mind, it becomes a walking meditation, and that's what it's designed to do. And so in the walking, in your conscious aware state, you're having a meditative it's having a meditative effect on you as you're walking down, as you're relating it to a region of mind that you actually get into in your true meditative practice. And I think I have one more. The whole idea of showing you these photos is to explain that these aren't just grand uh, stone structures, and they are not tombs. They are metaphysical devices, mystical devices that are assisting in the spiritual evolutionary process of a human being. There's one more. I'll stop sharing and I'll pull up one more photo so you can see. And when you really think about it, you know, this is amazing what they did. Let's see if I can get to the other photo. Okay, here it is. Let me save it to the desktop so we don't lose it. Okay, I'll pull it up. So when you recall, pull this one up again. You're walking down, and then you get to an open space. And this is what the open space looks like. You get here, and if you look up, you see I'm standing on the floor right now and looking up, and you can see now you have a vertical corridor, which then takes you up to another room inside the same pyramid. And this wooden scaffolding that they put here, this is what you use to walk up to get into the room upstairs. So this vertical corridor, again, they're designing the mind in stone. And this is another region of mind that you can get into. And this brings up the idea of teleportation and actually floating up, like if you can, so development of certain psychic powers where you can teleport yourself up to the upper room or or float your way up to the upper room, things like that. These kinds of psychic power practices that you don't rely on, you just use them to develop the strength and the power of your ka, which is your astral body, that then assists you. If you have a strong ka that you can that you can project on will in a physical plane of existence, we refer to as the physical plane of existence. If you have a strong ka that can do that, then you have a powerful vehicle ka that you can use in the astral plane in the duat. So this vertical corridor, if we zoom in, you can see also, if you look closely, you can see how they're kind of, the wall is made kind of like jagged, with the stones are lipping over one over the other. So what they're doing there is they're creating a sound vibration chamber. So certain words of power, certain hekau are chanted by the initiates. And that has a direct effect on the mind, but it also has an effect on the cells of your body, the fluid content of your body. It causes your physical body to vibrate. The resonance. So you're causing a change in the vibration of your body through sound. And you're also causing a change in the vibration of your mind. And they don't just do this one time. The initiates have to come here and led and practice and practice and practice for hours and hours at a time. And this is an ongoing process that takes place over years. But the end result is the development of these psychic powers that lead to lead to metaphysical capacities that then leads to spiritual enlightenment, which is the whole goal, which is the ultimate goal of the whole process. So if you go back and look at the previous video, this presentation gives some deeper insight into what is actually going on with these structures and how the initiates are being led in a progressive series of theurgical processes that leads to higher consciousness. And they're not being led by themselves on their own design and things like that. They're being led by clergy members, priests and priestesses who have specialized in this area and have mastered these techniques. And concerning the vibration aspect component of the pyramids, it can also produce deep healing in the body by changing the genetic. So it can have a genetic an epigenetic effect. The sound has an epigenetic effect that brings health to the body, health to the mind, and ultimately health to the soul. So epigenetics is going on here, and they're doing it consciously and willfully. It's not occurring by happenstance. It's occurring by design, by how they constructed the structures and what they want to produce to create enlightened beings. So we'll come back to the text next week if we're not on hiatus. I have to review the schedule to see if we'll be on hiatus. So that'll be it for today. If you have any questions, you can send them to sehuank@gmail.com. So dua everyone, and dua for the devotion once again. Until we meet again. Hitet. Om.
Dua hita.
Om. 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 Hitet.